Good morning, everyone. Today is the feast of Saint Victor, so happy feast day to all of you victors out there. Interesting man. He was, in fact, the first pope from Africa. And often we think about, all the popes were probably from Italy. Well, clearly not the case. He lived in the early years of the church, and his important accomplishment was to settle the date of Easter as being on a Sunday, because up until that stage, there are some people who followed the tradition of Easter being a movable feast. In other words, it basically followed, it moved like as Christmas does. It was stuck to a date, not to days of the week. So therefore, it would move around depending on what was happening. We know that Easter even now is affected by the phases of the moon. And that's why we have Passover happening at that particular time. And so therefore the phase of the moon would obviously be calculated according to the date, not according to the days of the week. But through his influence, Victor said, okay, it's got to be on a Sunday. It'll always be on that Sunday. But nevertheless, we do know that Easter moves. So it's not always on the same Sunday of the month every year. So it does move around, so that's interesting. Some people might find, well, whoops, hang on. No. So it's been a shorter spell since Christmas and Easter. Yeah, sometimes it happens that way. So thanks to Saint Victor. Readings today are quite interesting. The first reading is from the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 18. And the gospel is Matthew's gospel, chapter 13. But they both talk about something quite similar. In Jeremiah, he talks about the potter, the man working with his hands with clay and making pots. And if he comes across and he's working on with the clay and there's an imperfection, then he discards it or he changes it into something else. Matthew talks about the parable of the separating the good fish from the useless ones. And that's an interesting one. It will basically pull out the fish that they could use, and those they couldn't use, they would discard. So there's clear message in terms of separation from those things that are useful and those things are not. As far as the message is concerned for us, it is a separation of the good from the wicked. And that frightening line that we find in the gospel today, one that we should really pay attention, saying there'll be weeping and grinding of teeth. So in other words, if we don't do what we're supposed to do, and we're going to be discarded, there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. Something to think about today, and quite a worrying message. But you keep safe. We'll see you again. God bless. Bye-bye.